Pay attention, damn it. I'm sure my colorful language has your attention. And if you're anything like me, you might have heard this phrase maybe once or twice growing up. Attention is important. So important people study attention. Microsoft did a study on our attention span. And in the year 2000, the results from their study showed the average human attention span was 13 seconds. They repeated the study in 2015 and noted that the average human attention span had fallen from 13 to 8. To put that into context, a goldfish has an attention span of 9 seconds. So we have an attentional problem on our hands. But it's okay. This is a skill that we can work on and we can become better at. Now, in a hyper-competitive business, it's very important to have extreme attention to detail. That could mean the difference between success and failure. How your team manages its attention, how your organization manages its focus individually will determine the outcomes that will lead to your success, right? So, like I said earlier, attention is something we can work on. So to better understand it and to create a plan to become better at it, I'm going to go over some information. I'm going to cover 4 important areas. Now, the first area is selective attention, and it's what most people normally do. It's how they live their lives. You're only focusing on one cognitive element at a time and you're ignoring everything else. Take, for example, close your eyes. Imagine you're at a party. Imagine one of your favorite songs is playing, right? Now, 2 people are talking loudly behind you. You notice them, but you're so into the song, they're hardly even there. Now, I walk up to you, I say your name, and I ask you, what were they talking about? You don't know. You don't have a clue. Now, that is selective attention. You were only attentive to the music, and then you became attentive to me when I spoke your name, because you have learned that your name is part of your selective attention, right? Now, I know what you're thinking. Why don't we just use this next step and solely focus on that and be done? Which is vigilance, right? Where you're constantly maintaining a level of attention towards something. The easiest example is a guard standing duty, right? He's vigilant. He's looking for threats. He requires a constant level of attention. If he loses his focus, all could be lost, right? Now, it's hard to maintain that level of focus over a period of time. And it's also hard to do it effectively if we don't understand how the information we are taking in actually flows. And what we're actually consciously taking in is a very minute portion of all the information that flows through a very small bottleneck, right? So then that means the next step is going to be ultra important, because if we have a limited amount of flow of information compared to what we're bringing in and actually seeing and feeling and hearing, then it's important to understand that allocating our attention is something we need to be vigilant of, right? Insensitivity to minor signals can mean we miss major messages. For example, micro-emotional reactions usually occur less than in 0.2 of a second, 0.3 of a second, but the emotional leakage is there. If you're allocating the attention to understanding and empathizing with the person you're speaking with, right? Which will allow you to understand that even though they may say things are fine and I'm okay with it, the emotional leakage says otherwise, which means that you need to spend additional time and additional effort into understanding their point of view and making them feel recognized and heard and safe in expressing those emotions, because they repress them for a reason. And it might be lack of psychological safety, which is a whole nother area all in itself. But as you become aware of this, as you become aware of where you allocate your attention, then these are things that you can start to become aware of and begin a plan of working on those things, right? Now, as far as attention goes, it does not run parallel. So if you're somebody that multitasks quite often, just know that attention does not run parallel. Science has discovered that when you switch your attention and your focus from task A to task B to task C and then back to task A, you have lessened focus and lessened attention as you navigate each task back and forth, right? So multitasking is actually a very ineffective way to take on challenges. It's better to use this next area, number 4, which is goal focus. And what that does is you're allowing your brain to focus solely on one goal and not any other additional distractions. And so what you're doing is you're actually honing your cognitive control when you're able to use goal focus, right? You want to just solely focus on this goal, achieve it, and then move on to the next, right? The small goals. I'm not talking about large goals. We can have many large goals, but in the day-to-day, when we're trying to achieve something, we want to focus on the small goals, right? One at a time. The next level is once we become better at using goal focus, we can start developing what's called meta-awareness, right? And that's actually the ability to track the quality of your awareness. How aware am I, right? And when you become aware, you understand where your attention is drawn. The awareness allows us to understand why we are attentive towards something, right? Like we spoke before, information flows and it gets to a bottleneck, right? Now, what we constantly do is we mistake the information at the end, which is our conscious actual view of what we're seeing and of our cognitive elements, versus what we're taking in, right? We're taking in a whole lot more than what we're actually seeing. However, people think that the end picture is the only picture, right? And so that's called top-down thinking, where you're not aware and you're allowing your conscious thoughts to govern your reality, as opposed to understanding that those thoughts are a byproduct of emotional reactions, emotional stimuli, other type of stimuli, all this information that's being processed in your brainstem and then being given to your conscious mind to either be happy with or to have dissonance with or irrelevance altogether, right? So becoming meta-aware of how your thoughts get to your brain and the route they travel will allow you to hone your attention even more. Because the better you understand yourself and the better you understand what actually motivates you, the more you can reappraise situations to fit those standards. And then apply the same emotional, attentional energy towards anything as opposed to just the things you like and enjoy, right? Then you give maximum output, maximum effort, and the quality of work is great. Now, these things are very important to focus, and like I said, we can practice them. So if you're interested in practicing and learning and trying to grow, DM, comment, like, let me know. Shoot me an email, KJ at KentCoach.com. Go to the website, KentCoach.com. There's a form you can fill out. just let me know. Here to help. Always here to help. And just remember, inspire hope, spread love, and learn compassion. Compassion for yourself and compassion for others. Thank you so much. Have a wonderful day.